Welcome to the Jer and Gel podcast, your go-to space for candid conversations about relationships where transparency meets real-life tales. I'm Jer.
And I'm Gel, and we're here to explore the delicate dance of push and pull and the flow of give and take in the intricate tapestry of love. In today's episode, we're unraveling the art of taking time apart. Because let's face it, even the most in-sync couples need a solo beat now and then. We're diving into the beauty of short breathers, whether it's enjoying a meal with friends, embarking on solo adventures, or simply reveling in moments of solitude. It's not about distance, it's about creating space for individual growth within the confines of a partnership.
So buckle up for insights, anecdotes, and a sprinkle of humor as we navigate the fine line between togetherness and me time. Get ready to discover why sometimes taking a step back can lead to a leap forward in your relationship.
This is the Jer and Gel podcast, where love finds harmony in the give and take of space.
We are back.
Yes, we are. For our first episode for the month of March.
We started this in February.
You mean season 4?
Yeah.
Yeah. And we're on episode 39.
God, we're already 3 months into 2024.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Episode 39, taking time apart.
I think this is going to be an interesting discussion today because I think so many people have different perceptions of this, and they view it differently. I think we come from a perspective where we enjoy short times apart.
Yes.
And we've found out that it is healthy for us, but our trust level and where we're at in our relationship has a big thing to do with that, I believe.
It does. If you don't have that trust in your relationship, it's hard to take time apart.
Yeah. Yep. So our first topic is the importance of individual growth. Today we'll be discussing about how taking time apart allows each partner to pursue personal interests, hobbies, fostering individual growth within the relationship. So what are your thoughts on that, my boo?
Wow. I think taking time apart or short little breathers.
What's a breather?
Away from you. Time away away from you.
That sounds very negative.
Okay.
That's like something like, okay, I need a breather. I need time away from you.
I mean, like time alone, because, well, before there was an us, there was an I. We were individuals, right?
True.
We had, our own hobbies, and we had our own things that we would do without each other. And then you get together, you get married, and those just stop?
No,
they don't.
Some have paused, but
right, or they get put on the back burner because we forget, or it's just not a priority anymore because you're a priority and I'm your priority, and so sometimes we just forget. So to me, taking time apart is not a negative thing. It allows us to grow as individuals so that we can be better for our spouse.
Yeah. What are some examples of that you feel are healthy for our relationship that we've implemented and kind of done? It's not like something that we said, hey, I think we need time apart from each other.
Right.
It's happened on its own, right? I mean, it's kind of been
it just
fabric
natural,
into our lives.
Well, I mean, I love spending time with you. And
I love spending time with you.
I know you do.
I miss you when I don't spend time with
you. I noticed that
What?
Last week.
You do not notice?
I do. Because when we spend time apart, like if you're doing an activity that I'm not a part of, like recently when you went skiing and I didn't go because I don't like winter sports. I've done it. I just don't like it. And you went without me. I got calls. I got text messages. I miss you.
She was with with me, but she was not at the resort. No. She was at the cabin.
And I was reading my book.
Yeah. So something like that's healthy.
I was reading my book. listening to worship music, cooking, doing things that I like to do, and I did them alone.
Yeah.
I took a stroll down Albertsons, got me a Starbucks coffee for free, mind you, because their machine was down. It's like, wow, this is really nice.
Mm.
I didn't have to rush in the morning. I got to take my sweet time. Though having a peaceful day like that is
That was
very
something
refreshing, I would
in
say.
that sense, because you're not having to worry about someone else's time, someone else's agenda, someone else's
Mm-hmm.
wants or needs. You're just able to go at your own pace,
Right.
set your own
Yeah.
day,
It's
do
stress
what.
free.
Yeah,
But you were gone all day, and so
yeah,
he would call and he'd be like, I miss you. And I'm like, I miss you too. But I mean, he had fun, I had fun, it was just a one day thing. And I I think that short time apart, just those few hours, it doesn't have to be a whole week or a whole day, even just a few hours out of the week or a few hours in one day. It really, I feel like, helps you also appreciate your spouse too and miss them. You come
yeah,
back and you're both refreshed and rejuvenated and willing to
yeah.
give.
I think we're used to doing things together. So when we go somewhere, we're typically doing the same exact thing.
Mm-hmm.
But this was kind of out of the norm because it's something you don't enjoy,
Mm-hmm.
something that I've been wanting to do, and I haven't
And
done
you
much.
enjoyed it.
And I did enjoy it, but I missed not having her there with me, not being part of it, not sharing that event and what we were doing. But when I was gone, like, you were constantly on my mind. And then when I got home, like, you had dinner, you had everything set and prepped and
Mm-hmm.
ready to go, and I was like, just I wanted to be closer. I kept touching her leg, and I was like, I really love you. I missed
He
you
sat
today.
right next to me while
Yeah.
he was eating.
But I do. I enjoy doing things with you. Like, I really, when we do stuff together, it's always enjoyable.
Oh, yeah.
It's always fun. We
Yeah.
always have good times and good laughs. But this was something a little bit different because
Mm-hmm.
it's something you didn't enjoy doing. And,
Well, do
you
you
know,
ever feel like you need some space sometimes?
so, I mean, I don't feel like I haven't had that urge, but I like when we do have that time apart.
Yeah.
So there's
Yeah.
times like when it'll happen is like you and the girls have Valentine's, or sorry, excuse me, let me use the
Galentine's.
correct dictionary term for this. Galentimes.
No,
That's
there's no
made up.
M. It's an N. Galentine's.
Galentines. What did I say? Times?
Yeah.
Yeah. But like stuff like that, or sometimes your friends will invite you to go to dinner,
Mm-hmm.
go hang out. You guys do go do karaoke. That's
Mm-hmm.
something that I enjoy, and I think
And then
it's time
what do you
because I
do
have
with
time.
that? What do you do with that time?
A lot of times I'll do it to practice, or
Practice
sometimes
what?
I work on
Practice what?
my guitar.
Okay.
Good job. Good job. There's a backstory to that. Today on the way here, we went and had lunch, and I told her, can you please call me out whenever I don't explain something? I say it when I do something, or when I do things, or I like stuff, or whatever it is. I practice. See, I didn't give the whole backstory. I need that. Thank you, baby.
You're welcome.
But now I said
You practice guitar, yes.
yeah.
So you use
I
your time to do
practice.
these things. And what else do you do during this
A
time?
lot
when
of
I'm
times
away?
I'll edit. I'll do editing, or I'll do
All things,
creative
all
stuff for the
things
podcast.
that you love to do.
And other times, sometimes I'll just sit on the couch and not do anything.
Mm-hmm.
I just enjoy my quiet time, and I wait for you to get home
And
because
be
I
loud.
know it's gonna be fun.
And loud.
Yeah,
I think I'm the loud one in the relationship. Or, well, I think
Yeah.
sometimes we're kind of equal because you can be loud
Sometimes.
too. I think we take turns being loud,
yeah,
you know?
we do.
Mm-hmm.
We have a good balance.
Yeah. But sometimes when he wants to be loud, I want quiet. And then sometimes when I want to be loud, he wants quiet. So that it's like we're not always in sync. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to be quiet.
Majority of the time it
We
feels like we
are.
are. So.
Yeah, but there's on rare occasions like why are you not matching my energy right now?
Yeah. So on topic 2, it kind of goes into friend dates and social connections. I think that's positive. I think that's I don't do that as much.
I think
I think I've done it a little bit more recently.
I will
but
say
not all the time.
I think it's more of a woman thing. Like women take the time to plan these social events and go on their friend dates and go catch up with the girls, and guys don't do it as much.
No, I think because guys are very reserved and a lot of times closed off. So even when I do go hang out with guys, like we don't get into depth about a bunch of stuff. Once in a while I'll have something set up with some really good friends that we know, and we'll go hang out for a couple hours, and then we get into talking about some serious stuff. But a lot of times it's so vague and just surface level stuff. So we just enjoy the time. We enjoy the time hanging out. We enjoy the time kind of chilling and just relaxing, and sometimes it's just quiet.
Talking
Sometimes
about nothing.
Yeah, a lot of times that's what it is. But so that I can see that. I can see that it'd be more of a woman thing because you guys talk about everything.
Well, yeah, I think because women are sorry, I thought I cut that.
No, we're only at 16.
Women are social butterflies a lot of the time, right? We thrive on socializing and getting together and dressing up for tea parties and whatever women love to do. I mean, I like tea parties, but not everyone likes tea parties. Maybe they like axe throwing. Maybe women get together to go axe throwing or shoot some guns, whatever it is. I like all of that, by the way. I'm a really awesome friend that does it all, just saying. Like, you want to go to brunch? Let's go to brunch. You need me to kick someone's butt? Let's go. Like, like, call me up. You need help? Like, whose house are we breaking into? Like, I am that person. Wow. Like, oh, are we stalking someone on Facebook right now? Okay, who?
That's true.
No. On the real though, like, I mean, because I have a lot of single friends. So if they're telling me some guy that they met at so-and-so or at the mall, or they met them at this bar or wherever they met the guy, I'm like, what's his name? Every time I'm like, what is his name? Oh, do you know where he works? Yep. Like, how much information did you get from this one meetup or this one introduction? So then I'm like, right away, I'm like, okay, I'm going to Facebook this person. I'm going to see what they're about and if they're even good enough for my friend. So that's how it is with the girls, like that is important. It's part of, I think, spending that time with your girls is just helps you grow as a person too. I don't know what I'm trying to say. I'm just saying.
What do you think you get from, like, I mean, why is that something that's important to you, and what do you think you get from it, and how does it affect, a friendship? Yeah, and how does it affect our relationship? So, like, the third point, it goes into building trust. Does that help in any sense to build trust or to build our relationship? Do you feel that
my relationship with you? My relationship with my girlfriends, of course, is separate than my relationship with you. Yeah. But me having that outlet and having a place to go, and I'm not one to complain about my spouse. I don't, you know, back in the day, in my younger years, in my 20s, it's like all I felt like it's all I ever did. But now, as I have grown and had some experience and have developed some wisdom, it's not something that I really do. Like, I have nothing bad to say. If I'm going through something that I think I need to just talk it out, then I'll reach out to them. So having that outlet definitely helps my relationship with you, because sometimes I have to go to my girlfriend and be like, hey, I need help. I need this. What do you think about this? And I haven't told you yet because maybe I don't know how you're going to react, or, I mean, we haven't had a situation like that, but if we did, I have that group or that person that I can go to without judgment and they can give me some godly advice, because I don't just go to anybody.
Yeah.
That's very important. But having that group does help our relationship.
I think that's important because a lot of times it depends on who you are sharing specific things with like that. Because like you said, it's not just anybody.
No.
And there are certain people that you don't want to take things like that and share that information with, because that can go south to where people will take that information and share it with others.
Right.
Or it becomes like this big old story behind what's actually even happening.
Yeah, I think it's important to guard your marriage, guard your relationship with your spouse. And one of the ways to do that is to not talk crap about your spouse to other people. I mean, there's a difference in sharing to gain advice or wisdom in a situation as to just trash talking your spouse,
And you said you've kind of had both.
I've had both. Yes, definitely. And from my experience, thinking back to all the times that I would complain about like my ex-husband to several people, not just my friends, but like family, all kinds of people, it just wasn't healthy. And then you're getting everybody's opinion, but none of them even matter. So you get all more confused, because you're like, well, I still don't know what to do. This person says this, and this person says that, and that person said this, and my mom said this, and this person. So you're like, okay, so what do I do? So now you're even more confused. And instead, what I should have done and what I know to do now is first seek God, right? And pray about it and ask Him for guidance and wisdom. And sometimes He sends a person to you to help answer that. You could,
absolutely.
I have lots of people in my life that He has sent, and I call up on, and I'm like, hey, like people who are older than me, who are wiser, who have gone through more things in their life than I have, and they have more experience. So I'm going to call them like I call my mentor, hey, I'm going through this right now. And then great, godly, sound advice. Never, ever have I been disappointed when I call my mentor. I'm like, oh my gosh, thank you. You're right. And I'm like, I don't know why I'm like this. Like, that's what happens. And then it brings me back to reality. It brings me back to humility. It brings me back to like, oh yeah, I don't know where my headspace was, but I know where it needs to be. Okay, got it. So it puts me in check.
I think we get so wrapped up in our own little world sometimes that we only see our surroundings and what we're going through and what my emotions are and what I feel like and what, I think, I feel, whatever.
Right.
Rather than seeing the whole outside of that. And when you have someone that you can share with, that first, it has to be someone that you have to trust.
Mm-hmm.
It's someone that's not going to go out there and share all your information with everybody else and make it everyone else's business. Oh, hey, did you hear about Jer and Gel? Did you know that they're having whatever it is, It has to be someone that's going to stand on both your sides as far as a husband and wife. We've got friends that we know that if we would go and tell them something, they would probably tell us, you know what? If I went to go complain to them or I went to go say something, oh, this gel's doing this, gel, you know what? I don't want to hear it. Or you guys need to come together and talk to us or something like that. And I think that's important because, man, sometimes you can have someone in your ear and just telling you all kinds of negative stuff, and that's not healthy at all. And that's the thing
is, like, in my 20s when I would complain about my ex-husband, I would hear negative stuff. And that negative stuff starts to creep in, and you start thinking those negative things too. Even though you didn't believe them before, then now they're in your heart, they're in your mind, and you're like, oh, I think they might be right. Just constantly think about that, and it affects your relationship. So that is not something I do anymore. Aren't you glad?
Yeah, I am. And no, it is. I remember what it makes me remember is when I was younger, my first marriage, anytime something would happen, like I remember the first couple of times that it happened in my marriage where it was horrible. Like that marriage was just really bad. Every time there was a fight or an argument, everything was blown out of proportion. So typically I would leave, I'd go get me a hotel room, and I'd stay overnight. I wouldn't call friends. I wouldn't call people and say, "Hey, this is what I'm going through, man. This is what I'm doing."
Right.
You know, I would. And then I remember one time I didn't have the money, or I didn't have my wallet or whatever it was, so I drove to my parents, and I was mad. I was so upset, and I got there, and I was just like, I started venting, and I remember my dad told me, he goes, "Hey," he says, I'm gonna share something with you. I don't think that you should be telling me and your mom this and all these issues and all these problems. He goes, I understand what you're going through. He says, I understand you're upset. I understand you're mad. He says, but here's the thing. He says, tomorrow or the next day or the next day, you and your wife are going to make up, and you guys are going to go back into la la land where, oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do that, you know. And they're stuck. Now that they've heard all this stuff, or just my side, they're stuck with that perception of that person.
Yes.
So since then, I've never taken, unless it's someone that I know I can speak to that's going to give me sound advice, or typically someone that's going to sit there and say, okay, that's what you're saying about her. How about you? What are you doing? What's causing this to happen? What's causing, you know, and kind of brings focus back to yourself, because the only thing that you can really ever change in a relationship is yourself.
That's right.
You can never change the other person. So despite what they're doing doesn't give you any approval or anything to act a certain way. But that was big. That was huge back then. And then that anytime I would get in an argument and stuff with someone that I was with, I would never go tell friends, because that was true. And especially if they were really good friends of mine, then they were stuck with that perception. It's like, oh, well, your wife's whatever, you know. Nah. So I wouldn't have to say that, but then they saw it on their own of what that person was like.
That
Interesting.
is very true.
And that's hard, because a lot of times I kind of wonder with my son. He's older. He's in a relationship. He's in marriage. So young. They haven't really experienced a whole lot of stuff. But that type of advice is something that I would continue to give to him. Like if he ever came around and said, man, can you believe this? Or whatever the issue is.
He has.
No, and I don't think he would. You know, I think it'll happen one day, because we all do it. We all do it to where we go try to spew all our junk of what we're dealing with on someone else and try to make ourselves feel better about ourselves. Because I've done it, you know, despite I have it, that didn't stop back then. I just said, oh, I'm going to do this from now on. I still did that once in a while. But I think when it comes to a point of that ever happening, I think that's going to be advice that I would stand on and say, hey, here's your mom and my advice that we're going to give you. Mama Jelly and Mama J.
Oh my god.
Oh, I'm not a mama. I'm a
not
Daddy
a
J.
Mama.
I'm a Daddy J. I'm going to be Grandpa J. Papa J.
Ooh, Papa. Papa.
But yeah.
Yeah, that's good, baby. I'm glad your dad gave you that sound advice.
Yeah, it's been good. And even like in our relationship, I mean, our relationship this is the easiest, most pleasant, most satisfying.
Yeah.
And is all I can really just say. And even like today when Pastor Tony and John were asking me, how's everything going? How are you doing? I was like, blessed. You know, and I don't say that lightly.
Yeah.
Because I truly believe like we are blessed. Like God has his hands over us. Yeah. God has his protection on us. We have favor with him, and it's been amazing. So
yes, it has. I will say it has been pretty easy, and we've been married not even 2 years yet. I think it's like a year and 4 months.
A year and 5 months.
5 months, yeah.
God, we're almost a year and a half.
Yeah, and I'm still waiting for our first fight. I mean, we've had like two little spats, but they're not even huge fights. One of them was over pancakes, and the other one was over I think a water bill or something. Remember?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And that was it. So building trust through independence. Because you and I are both very independent people. At least we were before we got together.
Very true.
And and I know in our relationship we have that trust.
Yes.
And you're about to go on a trip this weekend.
I think this is my first trip without you.
This is your first. I've taken trips without you all the time. You know, I just go because
do you want to role play what you told me at the restaurant?
What are you talking about?
About my trip and your excitement for can't wait till I go?
No, I don't want to role play.
Do you know how much she believes in this theory?
Let me tell you. So my first trip without you, we were just dating. And
that was which one?
It was when I ran my first half marathon.
Oh, yeah.
And
we were dating. I dog watched that time. That was awesome. That was good.
He was house sitting and he was watching my dog. And so that was my first trip without you, but we weren't that serious. And then after that, I've taken a girls' trip because I go on a...
I think you went with your sister.
My sister. Oh, we went to New Orleans. I went to New Orleans with my sister.
We were serious then.
We're serious but dating.
Yeah.
And then after that...
I really missed you on that one too.
Yeah.
Just to say.
Yeah, and after that trip, where did I go?
You had a girls' trip.
I had a girls' trip to Phoenix.
Phoenix, Arizona.
And I have an annual girls' trip and usually an annual sisters' trip. So, and then I went to Mexico with my dad.
Yeah.
So I've had like 4 trips without you.
Yeah.
And I'm about to have another one in May with my girls again.
Yeah.
So this is your first solo trip.
Yes.
And he's going to
Phoenix. I have
Phoenix.
a really good friend that's getting married, and they are having a bachelor party in Phoenix.
In Phoenix.
Which I'm sure just by saying that, some people already said,
Uh-oh.
Oh my gosh. Mm-hmm. Hey now.
I'm not worried.
No, I think the thing is our trust is very important. Communication is very important. Mm-hmm. I joke with her all the time. I tell her I support single mothers and that I, want to get $100 bills and, go have fun.
Not everybody knows what single mothers. Nobody knows what that. Not a lot of people know what that means.
It's a horrible statement, but it's
and
funny
I would like to just
side.
say, okay, that my husband doesn't think that all single mothers are strippers. Okay, it's not true.
True, that's a bad statement. I shouldn't say that,
but he jokes about it, and so I'm excited for you. I'm excited that he's leaving on Friday and he's not coming back till Monday. So it's a whole weekend without him, just me and the dogs, because we also don't have kids this weekend. And it's going to be nice. For both of us, I think.
I'm looking forward to it.
I'm sure he'll call me and text me all the time, mostly text, probably because he won't have a lot of calling, But I know you'll text me. It's okay.
You don't know that.
Yes, I do.
I might just leave it, and I might just be out there the whole time.
No, you won't. I know you.
Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and then I'll come home and be like, hey, baby. Here I am.
No, that's not true. Because let me tell you, even when I'm on my trip.
How do you know that's not true?
Because I know you. Listen, okay?
Whatever.
Because even when I'm on my trips that I've gone without you, don't I always text you? I'm like always texting you. One, we share each other's location, so I'm going to be checking your location. Okay? So, I mean, I won't actually, I just said it, but I wouldn't tell. Like, anytime you're away, even when you are on your way home, I'm like, gosh, where is he? He's taking so long. I'm like, let me see. Oh, he's on the freeway.
Yeah.
Or he's still at work. He must be having a late day. Because I do check it periodically. I'm not like one of those, oh my gosh, I need to know where he's at.
Where's he at? Where's he at for lunch?
Yeah.
Where did he go? Is he at Twin Peaks?
But like if I'm making dinner and I want it to be hot, I'm like, gosh, how long, what's his ETA so I can know like what time to have dinner ready. So things like that. And as well as I always text you. I always
Yeah.
text you when I'm out. So I know you'll be texting me. He'll be sending me pictures of NASCAR because he's going to his first NASCAR show. Is that what it's called? Is it a show?
It's a NASCAR race.
Yeah. So they're staying in Phoenix. They rented a
Airbnb,
and I think a party. Is it a party van, bus, or is it just like a
it's a
shuttle?
RV.
RV.
Like a
So they're all going
big RV.
But he has to work, so he'll be flying in and then drive back with them. So he's going to have a great, good old time. But I know I'll get pictures and I know I'll get lovey text messages on how much he appreciates me because he's going to realize a lot when he's gone. I'm serious.
I don't know. I haven't been apart from you for that long.
Let me tell you, when I am out of town without you, man, I miss you. Because one, I have to drive myself when I'm out of town.
Wow.
Okay. I'm not a passenger.
She has to open her own doors.
I'm not a passenger princess. I open all my doors. I have to pick up the bill, the checks, I got to pay the bill, all the food and stuff. Like when he's around, I don't have to do that stuff. But no, seriously, I miss you more than just that. I mean,
I know.
I miss your touch and you being next to me. And it's hard. Do you know how hard? I can't wait till you have your first night to sleep without me next to you in a strange place. Do you know how hard it is to fall asleep in an unfamiliar place without your spouse next to you? It's so hard. It is hard. Especially how we sleep. Like, I can't wrap my legs around you. I have nothing to wrap my legs around. So it takes me a while to fall asleep.
It always takes you a while to fall asleep.
Like, do you notice that when I have gone on my trips and you're here by yourself, do you just fall asleep like nothing?
Sometimes, but not all the time. There's times that I have been up and I'm like, I can't get comfortable. When your bed is empty, there's definitely a difference, and it's known. Like it's obvious.
Right.
So those are times that are hard. There have been times that I haven't been able to fall asleep.
That's what I mean by absence.
But I try to wear myself out so that when I do get in bed,
you're like out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, see, absence makes the heart grow fonder. You appreciate your spouse. You miss them when you take these little time apart. At least for me, at least for us, it works. And I'm not saying it might not be for every single couple out there, but try it. I think the worst that can happen is you just don't do it again because it didn't work for you. Right?
Yeah. If there's things that you guys just enjoy doing together all the time and you're like, nope, my only vacation is when I'm with my husband or I'm with my wife. That's where, I feel that's the only person that deserves my time. That's fine. It's not a bad thing. We're not trying to put any of that stuff down either, because that is important.
Yes, it is. But we have that trust in our relationship. So, like, if you don't have that trust in your relationship, maybe don't try it. I would say you have to build that trust first.
Yeah.
Before you can take that time apart.
When there's not trust, that causes so much stress for the other spouse, wondering.
Yeah.
What are they going to be doing? Why aren't they calling me? Why didn't I get a text? Why are they up so late? Why are they, and that's not healthy. That's not healthy at all.
And one of the things I do and like that when I am out on my girls' trip or wherever I'm at without you is, one, we always make sure to call each other before we go to bed. So
yeah,
I know, and he'll text me. He's like, hey, I'm about to go to bed soon. So then I'll be like, okay, I have this much time to call him. Even if I'm out and not back at the hotel or wherever I'm at, I'll make sure to call him because I know if I try to call him later, he's not going to answer. Because once he's out, he's out. Like, he will not answer that phone. So, so I make sure to do that. And
I've texted her at times knowing that she has been out. Like, I got her location too, so I'll check and they're like, oh, they're still at a restaurant. Or they're at a place, that they're hanging out.
You check my location.
And I remember I've texted her before, and I'm like, "Hey, I'm going to bed. I love you. Have a wonderful evening. Good night, and I will talk to you tomorrow morning." And then 30 seconds goes by, and my phone buzzes like crazy because she's sending 12 texts. Right? No, that's not what we do. You do not go to bed without telling me good night.
Yep.
I will be calling you in 7 minutes. or 10 minutes or whatever
There's
the case
no
be.
way, no way you're going to bed or that I'm going to bed without hearing your voice.
Yep.
Heck no.
So we do stuff like that where it's very our communication is really open. There is transparency. There's no hiding anything from each other.
Right.
You know, we are in a place, and I can say this knowing 100%, like, she does not keep anything from me, and I don't keep anything from her, and I believe she feels the same way. But even like when we go places, she's gone, when you were in New Orleans, you guys were going to go to the place, you guys were at a restaurant, and you guys were looking for like a speakeasy, right? And they found one, and they ended up going to it and stuff. And I remember her calling me and saying, hey, this is what's happening, and we're going here, but it's really safe, and we got this person, and you know, we met some people and stuff. And so I know that she's safe. I know that she's in a place that she's going to be concerned about her safety. So, you know, there's things that you can do to make yourself and your spouse still feel comfortable. I wasn't asking for updates or, you know, hey, I'm doing this now.
Yeah.
We're just got done doing this and we're going here, you know, but that's something that brings peace of mind. That's something that brings, like, I know, oh God, I hear her voice. I know she's safe. She's going to be at this place. It's 10 o'clock. She's going to be home in an hour and a half. And I get a call when she gets home, or I get a text and, you know, hey, babe, I'm home. Okay, good night. Love you. You know, and we kind of end it there. But,
And I'll still, even if I'm out, like, well, if he's going to bed, I'll call him.
yeah.
But if I don't get home till like 12 or 1 in the morning or whatever we're doing out there, I will still text him, just got home, going to bed, good night, just so he knows.
Yeah.
And then he'll get it in the morning. But
Yeah.
But I do that, and it's worked for us.
Yeah. I think the health of your relationship will flow into other areas, and that's where we get the benefit of having that trust and not worrying about it, you know. I know you're not going to go make a stupid decision. I know if a man comes up to you and is like, hey, what's your name, you know, I don't have to worry about her going home with someone else, you know.
That's right.
So, and I know people are going to hit on her. She's beautiful. She's amazing.
No.
Yes.
They don't when I wear
Yes.
my ring, which I haven't had in a week. I'm so mad.
But if they do, I expect it. That's something that I know. And that I don't see that as a threat. I see that as a compliment. I'm like, well, yeah, that is my woman.
You know, that
right
hasn't
there, you know?
actually happened, though, since we've been married.
Yeah.
I haven't had anybody, which is nice.
Yeah. No, we're not in those situations.
We're not.
Often,
We don't
so
really
we're
go.
always together.
Yeah.
And if we are, you're with your sister or you're
And
whatever.
when I
so.
do travel alone without you, I mean, I am more aware of my surroundings.
Yeah.
I'm looking around. I'm checking to see who's behind me, who's beside me. I don't, want my purse to get stolen or get pickpocketed or, that kind of thing. So I make sure to keep an eye out. But when you're with me, I do that too still, but not like as much as when I'm alone, especially if I'm walking down New Orleans at night with another female. My sister, like, there's no way. So that is part of what we've been discussing is effective communication during solo time. That's how we communicate with each other during our solo time.
And it's important. I mean, it's nice to be able to not have to worry about where you're at and knowing that you're taking care of your surroundings. And typically, like, when you went with your sister, that was like, that doesn't happen all the time. It happens once a year if it happens again, which I'm sure it will.
Yeah.
But I think it might be like more of a sibling thing from what you guys are talking about. But like when she goes with her girlfriends, like there's 5 or 6 of them. They're in a group and they're, so stuff like that makes it more knowing that you're safe. That's basically
well, having that communication with each other during our solo time also helps to avoid misunderstandings.
Yeah.
So.
True.
Yeah. But yeah, time apart. It is healthy for you, for your relationship. Do you believe it helps us grow closer together when we have that time apart?
I think so. I think it's the opportunity to miss each other. because I think there's a lot of things that you take for granted when you don't have time apart. And when you do get to the point to where it's too late, that you like take that person for like, oh my gosh, like I should have seen this, you know. I think it just really brings a perspective of, man, I am lucky because this person's time does mean a lot to me, and what they bring when they're with me, like the time that I spend with you, I value it. I really do value it. And then when I do have time with you, like I love the fact that we can laugh and we touch and, you know, I get to hug you and I get to hold you when we watch movies. You know, those are things that I look forward to. So if I didn't have that, or if that just is something that I constantly always have all the time, then I probably wouldn't appreciate it all the time. But having that break of not having you next to me and not having you, you know, close to me brings that sense of, man, I really love that.
I'm glad you're back.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
And a lot of times, like, we it's too late for us to notice stuff like that. You know, if someone passes away or someone leaves or someone's just, like, out of your life, then you're like, man, that person really brought a lot of value. That person's time was very cherished, you know?
Yeah.
So that's something I never want to take advantage of. And I like being reminded.
Take for granted.
Yeah.
You said take advantage of. Is it take for granted?
Take for granted. And see it as an advantage.
Yeah, I agree, baby.
And there's such there's also a stigma about it where a lot of people they don't believe that's something that should be done. You know?
What, taking time apart? Well, I
like
mean,
you going on a girls' trip or me
right.
going on a bachelor's party that's out of the state and it's away and it's apart from you, and you know.
Yeah, no, there are married couples that don't believe in that, and that's okay if that's what works for them. I mean, I hope that they still have a healthy, growing relationship. I just believe that still being an individual while being in a marriage is very important.
Yeah.
You can't just lose yourself just because you got married.
No.
I think it's important. I know there's a lot of people out there that are going to disagree. No, once you get married, you become one with your spouse. And yes, I agree with that too. But you still are an individual. And you should still continue to do the things that you love.
Yeah.
And if your spouse loves the same things, great, do them together. If not, you can still do them.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, absolutely.
So
there's things that you enjoy doing that I don't always enjoy, and there's things that I enjoy doing that you don't always enjoy, you know? So.
Yeah. Let's see.
Number 9 is kind of like a recap. Setting healthy boundaries. 10. Offer advice on setting and respecting boundaries when it comes to taking time apart. I don't know. Do we? I don't think we've never set boundaries.
When we take time apart? I think
that's not something. I think it's just that.
I think it's common
unforeseen.
Sense.
What do they call it? Like
unspoken boundaries.
Unspoken,
but it's common sense.
Known.
Like, hey, don't go to a strip club.
I think the way I think of it is, I try to put myself in your position. If my wife was going to do this, how would I feel? There's multiple times I've been invited to places that are not the healthiest places to be. I've been invited to a strip club. I've said no. But there's other restaurants that are even around that are not, they don't bring honor to you as me as a man. And that's something that if I was in that restaurant, I would probably be distracted and probably be like, oh, wow, look at that girl. Wow. Oh, look at her butt. Look at her boobs. Look at her, you know, how her, and that's something that I struggled with, and we've talked about this in the past, is pornography. And the temptation of looking at someone who's attractive or someone who has a different body type or a different whatever it might be, a different look or whatever, a lot of times your flesh wants to enjoy that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And as me as a man, if I was walking next to you and me and you are holding hands and someone walks by and catches my attention, if I was to sit there and be like, oh, dang, oh, wow, look, how would that make you feel? That would not make you feel good. That would make you feel like I'm disrespecting you. That would make you feel like I'm not honoring you. That would make you feel like I'm just not loving you. So in the same sense, I try to look at other things that I do, decisions that I make. How is that is this something I would do if my wife was next to me? And is this something that's going to make my wife feel honored? And if it doesn't, then no, that's not something I should be doing. And I've been tempted to go at times because everyone else wants to go, or there's 3 or 4 people that are going to go, but it doesn't bring health to our relationship. And it would be a bad choice on my part, which you probably wouldn't even worry about it or say anything to like make it a big deal. But I know it would put a barrier in our trust that we currently have. It wouldn't be a big barrier.
Which places are you talking about?
Like some of the restaurants that I've told you that are around.
Like which restaurants?
What was the one you said the other day? Ojos Locos.
Ojos Locos. Twin Peaks.
Twin Peaks. And then the other one is the one that's off San Mateo that I used to go have lunch with all the time.
Billy's.
Yes. So they do like a braless Tuesday or Wednesday or something like that.
They do?
Yeah.
I had no idea.
So these girls that are working there are wearing like these white shirts and they have no bra on. And it's something that we used to go to in like when I was in my single days. I'd go there every once in a while. But it's not healthy.
Yeah.
And for you as a man, and for me as a man, I shouldn't say for everyone else. I mean, people are going to do what they do, and they have reasons for what they do or whatever.
Yeah.
But I know that as myself, I see my wife, when I see her, I am attracted. I'm easily aroused. I am sexually connected to her, and I'll go into, maybe to TMI. But as a man, if I'm looking at everybody in that same sense, then what does that bring? How do I value you more in that area if I'm looking at every woman like that? And I'm tempted to. I mean, I won't say I'm not. There's times that I see a woman walk by, and I'm like, oh man, like she's hot, and it's like, okay, do I turn and look again? Or do I not? Or do I turn and look and stare and be like, oh my gosh, imagine.
What if I tell you?
What if,
What if I'm like, oh, she's hot?
You have told me that before, and that's fine.
Because I compliment women all the time.
You usually tell me, hey, babe, look, she has a BBL. And usually it's not anything that's attractive. It's like, oh my gosh, I did not need to see that. Thank you. You could have kept that to yourself.
Sometimes it's just hard not to notice. Like, oh, you can tell when they have a BBL, especially just the
What is a BBL for those that don't know? No.
It's a like a, I don't know, butt lift.
Brazilian butt lift
or
something like that.
And they add, I don't know, just you can tell, especially when it's like the big voluptuous puff
and skinny legs.
I'm like, there's no way you can get that butt with a million squats. I'm sorry.
No.
Not like the ones that we have seen, like that are. No. So
they're pretty bad.
But I notice it, and I'm like, oh my gosh, look, and I'll tell them to look. Fake. Yeah, I don't care if I'm looking, you're looking. Now that I don't mind, but of course, if you're like doing a double take, I'm gonna be like, what are you doing? Don't be dumb. Yeah. But you've never done that.
No, I think I have that under control. At one time, I struggled with it. Not like close to us, but I think before you and I, like that was something I would find myself in. I'd see someone walk by, and I'm like, dang! Like,
but
I was looking at everything.
But you were single.
Yeah, I was single, but even that. Coming into our relationship, like those are things that I have to cut off.
I also think it's easier for a man to not take that double take when they're satisfied at home.
Yeah.
If your man is satisfied,
that's true.
Then it is a lot easier for them to resist others.
Because when you start going looking out for that other stuff, or you're not getting attention at home, then those things are going to amplify.
Yes, exactly. So just make sure your man is satisfied. I mean, I do.
Yeah.
I hope. I mean, sometimes it depends on your relationship. It is a lot easier said than done. Like some women just maybe don't have a high drive, or they went through so much with their spouse that they don't feel like having sex with them, or then that's a whole other issue, right? You need to communicate and get down to the root as to why you don't want to satisfy your husband, because that's a whole different thing.
There's a lot of reasons. A lot of times it could be from childhood trauma. It can be from mistrust, infidelity. It could be from your own issues that you're dealing with, or I mean, there's so much that's involved in it. But yeah, it's if I mean, one of the nice things too about, like, and we shared this in the past, but anytime that she goes on a trip or I go on a trip, like something happens, if we're going to be apart from each other, like, that's one of our priorities. Is if she's going to be gone for 3 or 4 days, the day 2 days prior to that, like, she is making sure that I am taken care of and I'm satisfied sexually, because of the fact that when she does go, I'm not going to be, if
starving.
I'm not going to be starving for affection, or if I'm getting horny or whatever, it's not going to be because you didn't take care of me,
Nope.
And that's not something that I'm going to be trying to go and look at someone else to fulfill.
Right.
So that is something that we do with each other. We take care of each other. We make it a point to, like, hey, like, there's times that she, even the day or two before she's leaving, she's like, hey, you need to be ready because tomorrow, and I'm like, okay.
I like to prepare him sometimes. I'm like, hey,
don't make plans. Don't invite anyone over.
We're busy. Yeah.
And it's important, those things are, because I can imagine if we're not having sex that whole week, and then you leave on a Thursday or Friday, and then you're gone that Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and you don't come back till Wednesday, that's a long time apart from each other. And then if you're not prayed up and you're not in, sync with each other, then that's exactly what the enemy is going to try to do. And he knows our faults.
Yes.
He knows our weaknesses. He knows where we've made mistakes, and he will use those against you to get you in a place.
He will bring back your past mistakes.
And he'll put someone in your place. I mean, one of these days, or one day, not one of these days, but one day, I was having dinner with a friend. And I think I had told you about this. I had told you, he and I went to go eat dinner. We met, and he told me, he goes, man, I've been struggling this week, dude. He goes, I've been struggling with, like, images and things that I'm watching and stuff. Like, everything's been, like, real appealing. And he's in a point to where he's about to get married, but they're not in a relationship, so they're not having sex. But in his mind, his thoughts were, like, going to pornography, and he's seen things on, whatever social media and stuff. So it was enticing him, and he started going down a little rabbit hole, and he clicked on one thing and went to another thing. And then he caught himself and found out, he was like, nope, I can't do that. Like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to destroy or, blemish whatever I have and allow that to come in. So, and where we were sitting was at a certain part in the restaurant where we had that whole area to ourselves. There was like 5 or 6 more chairs. Well, then all of a sudden these 2 kind of little older women came in, but they were really attractive. You could tell they were, like, in professional business, so they dressed professional, and they were, had the heels and all that stuff on, and they came and sat down. And I remember him looking over. He was like, bro, like, see what I'm talking about? He's like, do you see what I'm talking about? And I look over, I'm like, okay, well, why? He's like, why would they sit here? Like, why? There's chairs over there, there's chairs here, there's chairs over there. Why would they sit here? And maybe sometimes it's our mind, But I think you have to be aware of those things
Yeah.
and share them. Don't. I think the part that was really nice about that is like he shared it with me. And then I shared my vulnerability and I shared, my temptations that I had and I shared it with him. So that way we can support each other and pray for each other, So
You see,
that's good.
having that alone bro time does help.
It does. And it is important. Sometimes that doesn't always happen, but I think it's who your friends are too. I mean, I have other friends that I could probably say, hey, you guys want to go hang out? That would not be a good idea.
No.
No.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if you're doing that type of stuff, you have to keep in mind who you're doing it with and who you're involving and allowing to be in your world and speaking into your world. Because if you have someone that's falling for that stuff and, oh, hey, these women, we're sitting here having dinner. These women just showed up and now your attention's on them and you're a person that's not interested in that, but this person is, that can cause all kinds of issues because now you feel like, man, well, now I feel left out. Well, okay, well, I'm just going to talk to him. And that's how it starts to happen. Oh, well, I'm not doing anything bad. I'm just going to have conversation. And then that conversation turns into compliments or flirting or making comments about certain things or jokes that might be sexually, whatever. And then it goes and goes and goes and goes until you find yourself in a position where you're like going, oh, I should not have done that,
Yeah.
But don't ever get there.
No, let's not.
So I think it's important. We enjoy it. I enjoy it because I know when she's apart, before she leaves and when she comes back, I am going to look forward to some fun times. And I get special treatment sometimes. And I won't say what that is, but it's exciting. So
Too much.
I look forward to it. Sometimes I might even be calling her friends being like, hey, you should take Gel out. You guys should invite her, Let her go with you.
That's
No,
only
I'm just
when
kidding.
it's out of town, baby, out of the state.
No, it's not. You've gone to karaoke and you've come home
Okay.
and made bedtime fun. But I think these are all things that we can look at, how it affects our lives. And is there pressure or something in your relationship where you feel like you need a little bit of distance?
Yeah.
If it's done in a healthy way, it can be healthy for your relationship. If it's done in a negative way, it's not going to work.
I will say, if you're trying to take time apart, like a separation while married, I don't believe in that. I don't believe in someone moving out temporarily or sleeping in another bedroom temporarily. That's not something we believe in at all.
No.
Because when you're married, I would never sleep in a different room than my husband or in a different bed than my husband. Even if I was mad at him, I would still sleep next to him. Because once you take away that physical touch and that physical intimacy, it just gets a lot worse.
Well, I think
once you get more distant from each other.
Once you let something like that happen, once you go the first step, then you just continue to go further and further.
Yeah, you're not getting closer together at all. It's just further apart. I agree. So that's not the time apart that we're talking about is not, let's take a separation and a break from each other and see other people or anything like that. No, this is healthy hours apart, days apart to grow individually and come back refreshed for your spouse. That's what we're talking about, right? Yeah. So let's not get it twisted. I just want to say that because I know some people will take it the wrong way.
Jer and Gel said that no,
we did not say to separate. Please don't, don't no. So yeah, I think that there is healthy time apart. And that is, of course, in a healthy relationship. And I don't know. Do you want to add anything to that?
No, I like that. That's a good ending.
All right. I'm glad we cleared that up. So thank you guys so much for watching our podcast or listening to our podcast.
Yes.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of Taking Time Apart. Is that what we're calling it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. we just hope that you can subscribe, like, follow us. We would love it. Give us your feedback. Send us an email. Send us a comment. Whatever you'd like. Share your own experience with us. We'd love to hear it.
Subscribe.
Yeah.
And share.
Yes. We are trying to reach
We
a goal.
love your help in that. Please. It gets our message out further.
Yeah.
And plus, you don't miss any updates.
Exactly. Hit the bell button. You'll get all the updates.
Yes. All right, guys. Well, thank you once again for turning the page with Jer
and Gel.
And we look forward to seeing you guys soon. We'll be back next week with a new episode. And we've got some new stuff coming, hopefully in a couple weeks or a month. We're going to bring some new stuff to you guys. I think you guys will enjoy. So
yeah,
let's look forward to that. But catch us next Tuesday on our new episode. And we got stuff coming fresh.
Yes.
Have a great day, guys.
Bye.